Okay, so a little bit of poetic license. Again, I have completed all the way down all of the rounds, and the last round was repeat row 6 all the way around, which brings us to pretty much the end of this project, except for the handles. This is round 28, which is repeat round 6. So instead of going with the tutorial or the pattern, which has a very nice handle, I like to just kind of do my own handle. So we stop here at the last stitch where we join between the chain stitch and the first space of the double crochet. So we're going to have to do some backtracking back over here or over here. The best way to do it is to backtrack this way. It makes much more sense. But basically you're going to turn your work so it doesn't really matter. What I do is I lay the Market Street bag, and this one is such a lovely half strawberry shape. And these two, okay, I'm trying to get it in frame. These two edge, let me turn it around this way so that it is, so you can see. The very corner, you may want to put a stitch, and the very corner, you may want to put a stitch. But I've counted in 15 stitches to here, from the very edge, 15 stitches, and I put a stitch marker. And then on this side, same thing. I counted in 15 stitches and put another stitch marker. On this side, I counted in 15 stitches. You guessed it, I put a stitch marker, and this one I put a stitch marker. So the handle is going to be in between here, these two stitch markers, and these two stitch markers, and it's going to go across and attach here. So it's going to begin with a certain number of stitches, and then it's going to go thinner, and then it's going to go back to the same amount of stitches that are here. Okay, so the first thing I want to do is get back over to one of the corner stitches so that we can begin the row. So I'm going to turn it this way. And this one you can do in the double crochet, or you can do it in the single crochet. It doesn't much matter. You get more territory with the double crochet, certainly, but the single crochet is nice as well. But in order to get from here over to this, I'm just actually going to insert my needle, pull through a loop, and sort of go meandering across. So we're not adding any height at all. We're just basically getting over to this stitch. And I will go ahead and say that if you're going to do a double crochet, you want to do 3 chain stitches. I'm just going to do 2 chain stitches because I want to do a single crochet. And then I'm going to turn my work, obviously, because I want to work into the opposite direction. And I'm just going to go into the stitch. Now in this case, I'm going into the stitch, not the space. And I'm actually yarning over, pulling through 2 loops like that. Yarn over, pull through. Insert into the stitch, yarn over, pull through 2. Insert into. Okay, so in the case that you get into a situation where you've got a double crochet, or you've decreased, and it looks a little wonky, that's okay. Just keep looking for your stitches, and you shouldn't have any problem. Just look for the stitches. And then, of course, the next row that you do is going to be a little bit more uniform for you. So it's just getting over that hump, that little change up right there. It's not too much of a big deal. So I'm gonna make this any height I want. I don't have to make it a really long one. Okay, so I'm gonna go into this last stitch and I'm gonna double crochet. I mean chain stitch, 2 chain stitch, like so. And then I'm gonna continue my single crochet all the way across. As you can see here, it's quite repetitive, as much of this project is. There's beauty in repetitive nature of crochet. You practice your stitches, you gain confidence, you get comfortable, your speed picks up, and you can sort of get into that crochet meditation, which is so wonderful. Just, you know, get out of any kind of stressy moment. Now obviously, when we get to this other side, that's where we're going to attach. Now if you get to a spot here at the end, just go in that last stitch, do your single crochet, and then 2 chain stitches and switch it. It's going to even itself out. See, it's going to build, build. That's what we're doing. It's building blocks. And the beauty again is you can make this any height you want. You know what? I just did a little bit of a boo-boo. Did you catch that? I did a slip stitch. Now this may take some time to get all the way up, but I'm just going to keep going. Oops, I fell out. I'm just going to keep going as long as I can until, of course, the video runs out. You probably hear my little puppy going woof woof, barking at people, or animals, or whoever. They're ready for their little walk, their evening walk, but it hasn't gotten quite cool enough yet. So use your judgment when you come to the end of this. If you do another stitch here, don't make it a single crochet. You may want to just do a slip stitch, just so that it looks nice and even, and it's kind of got an angle to it. And then do your 2 chain stitches, because you just want both of these sides to look uniform. And there again, if it doesn't quite look the way it's supposed to in your mind, or the way the pattern states it, make it work. Fix it. If you don't want to do a slip stitch there, you don't have to. You can just do your chain and turn and go back. But this is all we're doing. And I'm not really making any changes to the length at all. Or should I say the width? See, this is where I want to slip stitch there, just so the angle's nice and it's got a good flow to it. Then I do the double chain stitch, and then I proceed to go across. So you don't want to go into that first stitch because that's technically that stitch. So I'm going to go to that next full stitch, the first full stitch you see. I feel like when you do this double, the single crochet, you go back and forth a little faster, but it does take more rows because obviously it's half as high as the double crochet. But I feel like it's a little bit more sturdy for the handle. And you know, this is where, ooh. So I just slipped out of this one. This is where you can gain some real estate here by just going for it. And then I like to try to find that little hole and slip stitch it. And then to chain stitch. And then look, see, we're just flipping. And we're just working our way. So keep working your way up like this. And then I will meet you back when we're about halfway as to where we want to be halfway. Okay? Good job.